was going by, and he pulled in and parked right in front of us at that time. And he walked back, and I was real happy because I thought, oh, we'll get another witness here. And it was pretty nice. And so he walked back, and I was just ready to take this fantastic picture. And I thought, oh, this is going to be a beautiful picture because I could see the windows and it over the freeway, and it just proved that UFOs exist.
Welcome back. And today we have an old friend, Jon Lopez, a member of the Zero group. And we've been talking off and on for years, right? About
Right.
the subject matter. And we have been talking about art and showing people's art in the program. And Jon sent me an email. He says, I've done a bunch of art that is really different from the usual ET art you see. Would that work on a show? And I said, absolutely. We'd just like to have you on the show, and sharing your art's just an extra added treat. So welcome to the show, Jon.
Well, thank you very much. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So we'd like to always begin with people who are unfamiliar with you or your work. That brings up to date a little bit on your history with the subject matter and what got you involved.
Well, on the subject matter, what got me involved was when I was a kid, I saw the movie The Day the Earth Stood Still on TV, and I really resonated with it. And I had always been interested in paranormal or metaphysical subjects. And for some reason, the UFO subject really struck a chord with me. And so through the years, I read all the books that came out, and I read the Interrupted Journey, which really opened my eyes. I really thought it was an incredible account, and ever since then, like I said, I've read all the books on the subject. I've seen the movies on the subject. I just find the whole subject incredibly fascinating. And wouldn't it be wonderful if this was in fact reality? And it looks like it is. And so,
Yeah.
uh,
Yeah, it definitely does.
and so I have been. I've read Whitley Strieber's books, and I subscribe to his Unknown Country podcast, and so it's just really a subject matter that has profoundly interested me. And I can't really say that I've had any personal experiences, except maybe one, what I would call altered state experience. But other than that, I don't think I've ever even seen a real UFO. But the subject matter just fascinates me. And I'm a cartoonist by profession and got into the animation industry. And I started drawing my own little, I guess you'd call them UFO or alien cartoons, which I originally thought would make good greeting cards. And so I did a series of those, and they didn't really come to fruition. And I set those aside for a long time. But then just recently, I've gotten back into it, where I had finished the illustrations and have colored them. And so I thought that might be of interest to your viewers to see what I've been doing in terms of
Yeah,
my own artwork.
we'll show those in a minute. And the way I'm going to do it is I'm going to put them up and you can comment on them. I will actually edit in the the pictures, because the way it works is that with my editing separate feeds, those pictures that I will show you will not show up in those feeds. But it's okay because I have the markers from us talking about it, so I can put them in. But for now, it'll help to have them up on the screen for you and I to see, so you can talk about each one individually. But before I do that, um, What got you involved in CIRO, the Close Encounters Resource?
Resource organization.
Yeah,
Um,
organization. Yeah.
well, I was attending the MUFON meetings in
Hmm.
Los Angeles when I lived in Los Angeles, and Yvonne Smith, who is the facilitator and originator of CIRO, would occasionally speak at some of the meetings, and so I remember approaching her and expressing my interest in the subject matter and saying that even though I didn't think I personally had had any close encounters, that would it be okay if I became a member of the group as sort of a sympathetic supporter? And she said, "Oh, of course."
That's
And
Yvonne. She's a sweetheart.
yes, and so we've been known each other now for years. We've been friends for years, and I'm sort of a member in absentia of the group.
Right.
Uh,
Now you originally lived out in out here, right?
I did. I lived
Yeah.
for in LA for 19 years when I worked in the animation business.
And so you went to, well, they had LA MUFON. It was much bigger then. They had the Newbury Park MUFON, which was much. It doesn't even exist anymore. It was a very big group of people with Roger Lear and Yvonne, myself, and then her support group meetings, which were really different from what they are today. They were quite extraordinary. But things change, they really
Yeah,
change. I wanted to explore with you a little bit here, uh, because what I find in general is that people that are really drawn to the subject and have good hearts, such as yourself, who are kind and gentle and look at the sky at night uh, and notice it and try to connect with it. What are your early childhood memories like? Did you have any imaginary friends?
imaginary friends. Believe it or not, I did not.
Huh. So you have no memories of any secret communications or dreams that had such things in it?
Nope, not as
That's
a
fascinating.
not as a child. No. Later on, as an adult, I would have, I guess, what you would call alien or UFO themed dreams. Um, and one, what I have come to believe was an altered state experience. But other than that, no imaginary friends.
Okay. Can you share that story with us of about that dream, if it was in fact a dream?
Um, this happened when I was living in New York.
Hmm.
I had already graduated college. I was working in the animation business as a freelancer. And I had this one extraordinary dream one time where I was scheduled to go visit my parents the next week. And in the dream, I was at my parents' house and I met my parents in their house and I asked if they could see me. And my mother said, "Yes, I can see you." And I said, "Oh, that's great." And I went outside into the carport and it was nighttime. And I looked up into the sky and the sky was just undulating with all these amazing, sparkling stars. They were waving. It was like waves of energy and they looked like jewels. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. And I continued back out into the backyard, and stood facing the house. And these two rectangular black objects, they looked like shoeboxes, but they were black. And they came down on either side of the house, and they sort of landed. They kind of springboarded, and they landed. They had legs, kind of like this, and they sort of springboarded and they landed in the yard, and they had little Christmas lights around them. And I stood there in awe, and I got this telepathic message that said, it's only in this kind of dream state that you'll ever be able to perceive us. And I said, well, okay, I'm okay with that as long as I know you're real. They said, oh, we're real, all right. I said, okay, cool, that's great. So I felt satisfied with that. And then I started walking back towards the house, and suddenly the scenario shifted, and it was daytime, and the house was in the state when we had first moved into the house. So there was no lawn, no grass, and we still hadn't built the overhead carport, so it was open. And on the side of the carport, which again still didn't have a roof over it, I saw this round saucer, and around the saucer were these very small entities or aliens, I guess you'd call them, but they weren't gray colored. They were kind of tan colored. And they were wearing jumpsuits, and they were digging in the ground with these little miniature shovels. And one of them noticed me there and didn't seem to be too happy that he had been noticed. And then at that point, I sort of went off to a partition. That we had a sliding glass door that led out into the carport, and I felt my face pressed up against the concrete of the partition. And I thought, oh my God, this is real. This is really happening. And as soon as I felt that, I started to wake up. But I didn't wake up all of a sudden. I woke up in stages. Like first I could feel my face against the concrete, then I could feel my feet and my legs and my torso. It all happened in increments. And then I became fully conscious. And that experience has stayed with me all these years, and I remember it like it happened yesterday.
Isn't that interesting? So how long ago was this?
Oh, this must be at least 30 years ago, if not more.
Wow, a dream that you remember for 30 years.
Yeah.
That in my book, and that's just strictly me, that's a red flag. Not only that, I don't know how aware you are about the things you described and how many other people have described the same thing or not. Are you?
Well, I'm certainly aware of so many people who have had these kinds of, I don't know if you'd call them dreams or altered
Mm.
state experiences or what, but yes, I am aware of other people who've had them, not quite the same way I did, because I wasn't taken, I wasn't examined, I wasn't abducted. I was all, I was observing everything. Even though I
Right.
was
The
in the
the
dream, I was an observer.
the description of the craft is nearly identical to Joe Stillwell's. Are you familiar with Joe Stillwell?
No, I'm not.
I mean, he even used the term that he saw what he saw. He saw a lot, and he was taken, but it started with seeing a black rectangle that had Christmas
Mm,
tree lights are all around the edge of it, and it came over the house. And I've done so many shows, and I've talked to so many people. Um, Kim Trotman, I don't know if you're familiar with her. We did a show with her. She's a friend of Yvonne. She does the same work as Yvonne, and she saw a craft like that. And then the more I looked into it, the more I found out that a lot of people had seen these rectangular black box shaped craft, and they will describe them with lights on them, like Christmas tree lights. So
interesting.
I find, yeah, it
Mm,
is interesting. And
mm.
then you explain the saucer, that they were tan colored. The one I saw in my kitchen that night was tan colored, like Whitley's book cover. a little bit more
Yeah.
tan than, and I didn't know if that was a result of the nightlight or what, but that wasn't a dream. I was awake and it was wearing a jumpsuit. Um, so, and here you are with this really intense interest and a dream that was so vivid to you that you remember it 30 years later. Um, I think there's something more going on here. Maybe not, because I don't want to suggest to people out there that if you've had a dream you've never forgot, that it means that you've had an interaction with non-human intelligence. But based on my experience, knowledge, and experience with this phenomenon over all the years, I'd have to say there's something more going on here.
Well, I would readily accept that. Yeah, yeah.
So let's talk about your artwork. So you actually do cell type animation. You draw by hand and animate in the traditional way. I know it's been
I did,
streamlined
yes.
lately. Yeah. But of course, now with computers, we can do that same work. And I'm not saying with AI, I'm saying you still illustrate the stuff, but the computer makes it easier to do, easier to animate. It creates the cells, you create the go between, the in betweens, and all that. Are you still doing animations for
Well,
work?
I am not, no.
Yeah.
The last thing I did was maybe a couple of years ago was a totally freelance thing, and it was hand drawn, and it was just a little segment. But I haven't really been doing any more of that. Illustrations I've been doing on and
Okay.
off, but not animation per se.
You have these numbered. Shall I go by the numbers? They're not in order, but um, or does it matter?
I don't think it matters.
Did you ever see my one greeting card, my Christmas card?
I believe I have, yes.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to show it to you. I won't do that to you. So we'll start with this one. Um,
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was one of my earlier endeavors, uh, doing digital art, where I would use photographs that I had taken and incorporate them into a graphic art design.
right.
So the background is separate. You see a gradation there that I was able to create.
Hmm.
And
Hmm.
then the figure, the main body here, is actually taken from a photograph of a American Indian, uh, I don't know what you would call a shaman figure.
Hmm. Hmm.
And and then the alien head I got from another source, and I cut and pasted that in there, and I cut and pasted the headdress, and I cut and pasted the little galaxy that's above it. So I had fun creating that piece of digital art. So and it has. I've always suspected or been fascinated by the idea that perhaps there's a connection between non-human intelligence and Native American traditions, Native
Well,
American cultures. You
I think you know that instinctively. Um,
know?
here's another one that with the Native American influence in it. That's really cool.
Yeah, I did these in Photoshop actually,
Hmm.
and again just took the star background, that's the Pleiades, the
Hmm.
seven sisters background, and
Right.
again just cut and pasted the alien head and the Native American headdress, and just combined them and added some glows around it and so forth.
Wow. It's amazing. I think we have another other one with the same theme. And this one you've got, it looks like the sport model in there.
Yep, I took the sport model from other images that I had, and just cut and pasted that in there, and made a composite.
Okay, I'm just kind of going through them in order as you have sent them.
Okay, this was one of the first cartoon illustrations I did of a little boy having an encounter in his bedroom at night, and the alien design was something that I came up with actually when I was in high school, and this was before I saw any of the common gray figures. So
Right.
I kind of just made this one up.
Well, it's charming. I mean,
Yeah,
and what's really interesting about it to me, and I know you have a colored version of this, is that it really kind of embodies the feeling that I got from my visitor friends when I was that age. Like, this is fun. This is something that I really want to be part of. Um, let's let's see where there. It's here somewhere. Where there it is.
yeah. There's a color version, and instead of a little boy, there's a little girl.
Right.
Uh, yeah. So
Wow.
these were intended to maybe be purchased as a single piece,
Right.
and that maybe people could frame or whatever. So,
It's wonderful. Um, this one very interesting.
yeah, this is an earlier one that I did, and I think I had just seen the movie Close Encounters,
Hmm.
and I had seen other movies where it depicted aliens um, sort of being crash landed on Earth. And
Right.
so this was something that I made up of an alien that was kind of trapped in a barn, and you see the light halo around the alien as though someone is shining a flashlight on the
Yeah, that's
alien.
exactly what I got. Yeah.
Yeah, and and catching him there, and the alien, of course, is is startled. And I didn't draw him with the traditional black eyes. I drew him with yellow eyes with red pupils. Yeah. Okay, This is part of the greeting card series. This is
Right.
a baby announcement. This is for like it's a boy. It's a,
I'm just wondering what influenced you to embody them in the way you did as being very charming and loving and happy and upbeat, when so many people doing similar art were always trying to make it creepy and scary and monsters, and you instead, I'm wondering where that influence in in you comes from, because it comes from somewhere.
well, being a cartoonist, and
Yeah.
I wanted to draw. I wanted to depict characters that would be appealing, that would be attractive and funny and not scary. So so my concept for these as greeting cards, I would want people to find them appealing and attractive and non-threatening. So
Kind of like Close
that's
Encounters.
why I did them as happy cute characters rather than scary demonic or gray characters.
Yeah. Well, the funny thing about the Grays is, at least in my experience and a whole bunch of other people in our community, is that they may have initially, in the fight or flight mode of their first contact and experience with them at early age, at early adult age, may have found them demonic and scary. But at this point in time, many people have reverted back to how they felt about them when they were kids, and that basically in a way, is what you're portraying with these very cute characters. It's not
Yeah,
a heavy.
and I just want to mention that I created these characters um, for an animated cartoon that I did when I was a teenager,
Wow,
and the boy character on the left, I named him Martian Blip, and he was from Mars. And the
right?
cartoon that I did on my own, uh, homemade animated cartoon, was called Mission from Mars, and
Wow.
it so that's what these characters were created for. So,
Where is that film now?
I've got it on VHS and DVD somewhere. Yeah.
You need to
It
upload it to the internet, and I'm sure people would love to see it. I know I would. I like to see everything,
yeah. uh, well,
even
yeah,
Alien Earth.
it was it was a labor of love, and I submitted it to uh, back then Kodak used to have uh, a film competition for teenagers, and it was called the Kodak Teenage Movie Competition, something like that. Anyway, I sent it in, and it won first prize.
Ah, that's great. How did you shoot it?
I shot it on 8 millimeter movie film with
Right,
my dad's 8 millimeter camera, which
single frame.
I'd single frame. I discovered one day that I could shoot single frames with it. And once I discovered that, I said, okay, now I can make my little animated film. And of course, I was very much interested in and fascinated by the technique of animation back
Me too.
then as well. So,
Back then would have been what year? What decade?
in the '60s,
Me too. And I got my dad's 8 millimeter camera. I eventually got bigger and better ones with sound stripes and everything else, but which led to my filmmaking career. But I found out that thing had single frame. So I
yeah,
had Major Matt, was it Matt Mason? Was a little character you could buy that was an astronaut, and he had a wire armature in him, so you could bend him and pose him. And I built the Gemini space capsule from Revell, and I shot stuff with people floating in space, and I had that same attraction.
yeah. I
I
was
really did.
fascinated by how you could
Yeah,
make a drawing or a series of drawings come to life. And of course, I grew up with all the Disney animated films, and so yeah.
sure. So this
this
one,
was a more this is a
you
more
open up a
generic,
package. Yeah,
like a surprise gift, so it could either be for a birthday or a Christmas present or however you might want to interpret it. So,
and what child or adult wouldn't like to have their very own UFO toy to play with? I mean, I can't think of anything
yeah,
that'd be more neat than that. So, wow, that's very cool. Um, you got a little different character in here now.
yeah. Here's the female Martian with her pet um, Cyclops pet. I guess the equivalent would be a like if you had a pet dog or something, but that's her little alien pet. And the theme for this illustration was Bon Voyage.
Ah,
Uh,
but they'll come back. They have to.
yeah. Oh, and this
I
one
think,
again is
yeah,
again either
I
like
have mul-
uh,
I have multiples here. I see
yeah,
this one.
I did one with either with a girl giving a gift to a boy or a boy giving a gift to a girl, so that
Ah,
so that whoever would want to purchase it would have a choice. And this is an Easter one where an alien Easter bunny is presenting the Martian character with a space egg.
So it's a Martian bunny.
Yeah.
There you go, Susan. They even have them on Mars. Susan Alloway. She I don't know if you watched the Jackrabbit case film that I did, but she was stopped, her and her friend, in the middle of the nowhere in the road by a bunch of 4 foot tall jackrabbits who
Oh
weren't
yeah,
jackrabbits.
I
Yeah.
read about that. Yes.
But you ought to watch the show. It's amazing because I brought it all to life, and that's not the best part. The best part is her and her telling the story. It's really quite moving and
Y-
emotional.
Yeah. Oh, and this is for Father's Day. Here's the little boy giving his Martian dad his traditional Father's Day necktie. Yeah.
That's great. Moving on here.
Oh, and this is just more of like a generic greetings, a female Martian saying hello to everybody, and the UFO or the spaceship in the background, and her little pet, alien pet. Mm.
Very sweet.
And again, here's another Easter themed one.
Wow. Did these ever get picked up to be put on cards? Because I mean, they really would have been
No,
wonderful to
they
have.
didn't. I would have had to have self-published them,
Right.
and at the time, I didn't have the means to do it.
Right.
So
Well, now
I
you
just
can.
now I can. Yes.
Yeah. Do you know about print keg? Like a keg of
Sorry
beer?
about what?
Print keg, like a keg of beer. It's print keg. I think it's .com. They print comic books, posters, cards, greeting cards, everything, and they take very small minimum orders if you don't want to do a lot. And they're very reasonable. They do great work. We've been using them, and they're exactly the people that could take these cards and print them for you, so you would be able to offer those.
Oh, cool. I was using Shutterfly for a
Uh
while,
huh. Uh huh.
but I was using it for my photography.
Right.
That was before I did these illustrations.
So here we have another one. Oh, that's
Here,
great. I love that.
here we have one for Halloween where the little
Yeah,
alien guy is trick or treating, and the elderly couple is handing out candy, and of course in the background you see the hovering spaceship and the little alien pet over
yeah.
hiding over on the sides.
And little do they know that that's not a kid in a really cool costume.
Right.
And I love the shadow on the ground. That's just wonderful. And the fact that it's blue and that's beautiful.
Oh,
Fun.
thank you. They're really a lot of fun to do. I love doing
Yeah,
them.
these should be on the market. I mean, I can't imagine that them not selling and people not wanting them. And I think about my grandchildren and sending them cards and how they would love stuff like this. And if there's one of us, there's a million of us. So because they're really, really good illustrations. I really like them. You have a very distinct style too, which
Oh,
is
thank
kind of
you.
reminiscent of the older world, which I think really gives it all its charm. Um, this is
Yeah, they
beautiful.
they are definitely old school in style. Old, uh, like from back in the 50s and 60s, where I was heavily influenced by the cartoon style back then, like Flintstones,
Yeah,
Jetsons, Hanna-Barbera, that I was very much influenced by that kind of style.
I'm not very thrilled with the style today.
No, me neither. To me, it
It's
just
just,
they just look ugly.
yeah, it lacks soul too. It just lacks
Yeah.
soul. That's that one again, and
This was one of
he's
the
happy to
first
be
ones.
going home.
Yeah, this was one of the first ones I ever did. of just the green alien being beamed up into his spaceship, saying, "Hi there." Yeah.
I love it. I mean, I can see that you could put just about any heading on any of these, like have a joyous ride, have a great trip, you know,
Yeah.
happy Halloween, happy birthday, happy Easter. All you have to do is put the text in there, and
Right.
or put it on the inside of the card. So I, I'd love a set of these cards. Oh, and
Oh, and there's
happy Mother's Day.
the Mother's Day with the little girl giving the mother a bouquet of alien flowers.
It's great. Let's see here. That's a duplicate. Okay.
Uh,
Wow.
this
There's a
is
monster.
yeah. This is one I had in black and white for a long time, and I didn't do anything with. And I said, I think it's time I colored this. And so, uh,
Yep. I love it. I was trying to think of a title to go with that. I'm sure you have too. So, safe
oh,
travel. See, there you
safe
go.
travels. Yeah.
A friend of mine's leaving town and send them that card. They know I'm a nut and I believe in aliens. They would love it. Oh,
Oh,
that's
here's
adorable.
one. Yeah, this is. I call this one "Missing You,"
Yeah.
where the aliens kind of. He's got a little tear down here,
Yeah, I
and
see that.
he's missing his 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 girlfriend or whomever it could be, and who's maybe up in the starburst up here on the upper right. So,
So initially you pencil out and then ink it and then color it. That's very traditional.
yes, and yeah, they're done. I did them on illustration paper, just in pencil, basically,
Hmm.
and then I inked them into a final ink line. But then I actually did the coloring digitally using Photoshop and using other paint programs to color it in. So,
Oh yeah. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. That's just those are the new brushes. There's a lot of
oh
controversy
yeah,
about AI versus doing things by hand, and there were people, or one person the other day, because I have a disclaimer at the beginning of all our shows, and that is that we don't use AI. That all this stuff is CGI, and there's a big difference between AI and
right,
CGI.
right.
And this one guy said, he laughed at me, left a nasty comment saying that what are you talking about? AI created CGI. It's all the same. And it's like, there's a person who doesn't understand
No,
that CGI is another brush and another canvas. AI, you talk to and it gives you stuff. And there's a big
right,
difference between the two. And it's just, and in this case, you're hand illustrating. You're putting it into Photoshop and you're working on it from there rather than using traditional pen and ink that you
exactly.
can use. And there's nothing, because you're still doing that. It's still the same process.
Yeah,
It's like accusing someone of using a computer to assist you in the editing of a movie when you're using a computer to do it. Well, I guess that person would want me to go back and sit there and cut the work print, if you even know what that is. I'm talking to the public. You
yeah,
cut the work print and you cut the film physically and you tape it together and you run the work print and you look at, make sure it's right. Then go down the side, get all the numbers, and you go and you A/B roll the original negative and get that all together with the cross dissolves and everything. Send it to lab and get it printed. Now I'm actually not using AI or computers at all. But why would I do that now when I can do that in Adobe Premiere or DaVinci, which is uh, now my software of choice? So it's still the same process. You still have to be trained. You
yeah.
still have to be an artist. You still have to know how to do it.
It's still
Um,
the same artistic process.
yeah,
Yeah,
it is.
yeah.
Absolutely is.
Oh, and here's my Thanksgiving cards. Yeah,
That's great. I love the alien food and the
yeah,
alien cornucopia.
yeah.
But they're also happy, you know? This
Yeah,
is the good.
well, I want them to be happy, joyful, appealing characters, that make
What
people
we
want
need
to
is,
buy the cards.
well, it's not just that. The world needs this more than they need all the other junk, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, this
Here's
is
a,
the
here's
best
a,
of,
a Valentine's Day card.
right? It's terrific. Wow. You could actually fold that one down the middle and then and then fold it open. I mean, and depending on what side it was folded to would be if it was to a guy to a girl or from a girl to a guy.
Right.
So
I have another version where it's from a girl to a guy. Oh, and here's another Valentine's Day one.
be a great way to spend Valentine's Day flying around the galaxy.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Oh, that's one with, yeah, with the lettering on it.
With the
And here's
lettering.
another, yeah,
And
and this
here's the Christmas card.
with the alien Christmas tree. Wow. And here, this is the last one.
Oh yeah, here's a wedding one. Uh
It's fantastic. I love the bouquet.
huh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's terrific, John. Wow.
And I also have
So
some.
go ahead.
I was just going to mention that in the interest of inclusivity and versatility, I also have same-sex versions of these as well. So,
Well, sure. Why not? There's nothing wrong with that.
yeah.
So, I mean, some people are opposed to it, but they're opposed to a lot of things that don't make sense. So, people love each other. They love each other. That's all that matters. Um, so, what are you working on now? What you're an artist, so I know if you're like me, and you're always doing a new project. You always wake up in the morning saying, "I want to make this," or "I want to draw that," or "I want to sculpt this," or whatever it is. What are you doing now?
Well, at the moment, I'm not doing anything. Although in the past few months, I did finish illustrating a children's book
Oh,
for someone who contacted me and liked my style and said I would like you to illustrate my children's book. So that's my most recent project. I just finished doing that, and
wow.
it's all based on different on colors, and the characters are all different colors, reflecting different
No
mood.
aliens in this one.
No aliens in this one. No.
Oh, shucks. Well, that's terrific. And how did they become familiar with your style to like it as well as they did, and how did they contact you? I mean, what did they see
Well,
that went, "I wanna hire this guy"?
well, this was through channels. Um,
Mhm,
you know how um, I'm a big believer in synchronicity,
mhm.
and how one event can lead to another event, can lead to another event, and so forth. And so I think I was contacted through some people from my spiritual center who knew of a minister who was looking for an artist to illustrate his children's book. And so they contacted me because they knew that I was a cartoonist and said, "Oh, you should contact this guy, this minister, and send him some of your work and see if he likes it." And he did, and so he hired me. So,
Wow. Uh, do you do non-comic style art? I mean, if you've done any, traditional portrait or,
not really. I'm not.
impressionistic
Yeah,
impressionism, or
I'm not very good at it. so, so
well, you don't know till you try. But,
well,
you. have to want to,
uh,
Every time I start off to do something impressionistic, it ends up being not impressionistic. And I look at Monet and people like that, and I say, God, they're so incredible. I just got to try that sometime, you know.
Yeah, I have tried to do it, and it ends up looking more cartoony than I would
Well,
like.
that's your style,
And
but
so
that's okay.
so it's like, well, but I very much like the impressionist style, and I have dabbled a bit in acrylics, um, but not to the extent where I've really become good at it. So,
Yeah, I don't know that I'm good at it. I just keep trying, and then people say, "Oh, that's really great. I love that." And it's like, "Really? Oh, okay. Yeah, yeah, okay." You know, I'll keep going then. You know,
right,
uh, the last
right,
the last acrylic painting that I did was, well, I did a book cover uh, for someone who's now become quite a nice friend, and I was paid very well for it. And he wanted an acrylic painting for his book that he's publishing about a very famous UFO case. Um, and I'm, you always think the same thing. Can I really do this?
yeah,
you know, and you do it, and you think, well, it looks pretty good. And then I show him the picture, and he's like over the top about it. We get so close to our work, we can't see it the way people who didn't do the work see it. I wish I could, but
right,
I can't. It's really hard.
right.
I pick myself apart, and I'm sure you do too. Um, so so you've got nothing going right now, but we can't have that. You've got to do something.
Yeah.
you,
Well,
you know,
I am completely open to something coming my way. So
right.
yeah,
Well, there's also just developing your own projects and doing those. I mean, that's all I do now. I rarely get hired except for book covers. Yeah, people may want me to do effects for their films and stuff. I turn it down. Um, it has to be something I really want to do, and I love doing my own thing, which is why we started breaking the silence, is
right.
to have
Yeah.
to have my own passion for something. Yeah, John, I remember the last time we talked on a live screen, um, live stream, not screen, stream.
Yeah.
That you moved from LA and you moved out to a very remote location that you really love being in. Can you
Yeah.
describe that
We
again?
the that was during the time in when the animation industry was going more towards computer generated uh, artwork rather than hand drawn 2D artwork. And so my particular niche, which was doing special effect, hand drawn special effects, it kind of dried up. And I didn't make the transition over into computers. So my partner and I decided, well, maybe it's time for a change. And we decided to move. We spent one Christmas in New Mexico, in Santa Fe. So we said, "Hey, let's move to the Southwest. Let's move to New Mexico." So we did. So we moved
Wow.
to New Mexico and to an area called Placitas, which is just north of Albuquerque,
Hmm.
and stayed there. And then that took a whole other 180-degree turn, and in which we moved to. We taught for a year in South Korea, teaching English to children. That was a whole
Wow.
total total unexpected uh, incident, but something that really enhanced our experience. But then when we came back, we decided to settle in the south, still remain in the Southwest, and ended up here in Arizona. So,
Wow. You're in Arizona now.
yes. Mm.
Yeah, because I spent some time in New Mexico working on a movie with Christopher Walken and Margot Kidder and a few other big names. They weren't Margot was big then because she'd just done Superman, my favorite Superman film, and Chris was kind of unknown. But I stayed in Chaco Canyon for a long time where we were using that
Mhm.
as a location and got to see a lot of New Mexico, and it was quite beautiful.
Yeah,
And so
it
you're in
has.
Arizona.
Yep. So,
And what's the night skies like there where you live?
oh, they're awesome because we live in an area that is not close to a city. We live
Right.
about maybe half an hour from Tucson, but we actually live in a community called Green Valley, and there really is no light pollution per se out in Green
Wow.
Valley. So the skies are pretty awesome.
You need to get a telescope
Yeah.
or a really good set of binoculars from Celestron. I live near the beach in Ventura, Oxnard area, and there's a lot of light pollution. And to see the Milky Way, I'd have to use a color night scope to see it. We have a nice Celestron telescope, and but we have to travel somewhere to really make good use of it. Uh, I'm always envious of people that have that kind of sky because I've spent so much time under night skies like that growing up. Um, do you ever just go out in the back at night and sit in a gravity chair and just watch the sky?
Yeah, just look up and commune with the stars, and I can feel the intelligence coming from the
Yeah.
stars. And yeah.
Yep.
Mhm.
But you don't see anything.
No, I don't see anything, but I just look up and say, "Oh, isn't it beautiful?" But then I really feel uh, that they're emanating intelligence, and so
Right. Yeah. It's not always important to see things. I mean, I have, you know that, and I've seen
yeah.
some pretty amazing things and I wasn't asking for it at the time either. I just happened to be on the phone and looking in the backyard, looking up, and there's an enormous triangle flying over me, completely silent. And you know, I've seen stuff all through my life like that. And but in talking to you over the last almost an hour now, I realized that, and I also know from researching and talking to lots of people about this subject matter that there is some sort of program going on between the visitors and humans that's been going on for a very, very long time. And it starts with childhood, and it could even start before that. And people can take that any way they like. But um, a lot of the people that are involved in this program, which is kind of to better humanity over time, aren't aware that they're involved at all. And they won't be aware of it
Mhm.
until they're needed to be, or they
Mhm.
need to be, or it's time for uh, that to be revealed to them. We're finding, as crazy as that sounds, that it really works that way. In my case, I guess I was always supposed to get into the entertainment industry and visual effects, and eventually start sharing my story starting in the 90s with the public and up to this day. But there's other people like yourself who may be totally unaware that you're involved in such a program. But which takes me back is when I questioned you about that dream you remember 30 years
Mhm.
later, is that is so typical of people that are involved, that have been involved with the visitors, but they have no conscious memory of it other than an odd dream or something. But when the
Right.
dream is described, and I know there's a lot of you listening to this who are on the fence about whether or not you're involved or not. But when the dream is described, they are so often very similar to each other. So that's just something for you to think about, you
Yeah.
know. And I
Well,
would say keep watching those skies.
keep watching. Keep my
Yeah.
eyes peeled. Well, when I back in the day when Communion first came out, Whitley Strieber's Communion,
Hmm.
and I wrote him a letter, and I shared this dream with him, and he wrote me back and said, "Well, you may have uh, contact, but it's revealing itself to you through dreams as opposed to actual physical experience." And so I took that to heart, and I said, "Well, okay, I'm cool with that."
Did you keep that letter?
Oh yeah, I still have it. Yeah,
I'll be
I
damned.
kept it.
Because you know what? That
I
son
have
of a gun never wrote me. That son of a gun never wrote me back, and I even sent him a big sculpture of the gray, and I never heard from him. And I
oh,
thought, well, he's sort of I didn't know what to make of that. I just figured he was too busy, too important for me, and I just kind of went on about my business. And then I was asked to work on the movie, which I didn't like at all. And I got bumped off of it at the last minute, but I never got to meet him. And then, fast forward to 1993, I think it was, or four, right in there, I get a phone call from him one night, questioned me about my art, and how did I know was what he asked me. And we've been friends ever since. I mean, we
ever
just talked
since.
today. We've been thick as thieves, as expression would go. But I always tell him, you just ignored me. Oh, did I? Oh, he thinks maybe my letter's in the archives at Rice University, along with the alien bust. So I gave him another alien bust, and I don't know what happened to that. I never asked him. He
Yeah.
probably pranked somebody with it or something. But
Well, shortly after Communion came out, he started a newsletter that he would email out to uh, people who had read the book and were very much interested in the book and in the subject and everything. And in one newsletter, he posed a question to his readers and said, "Where should I go from here? What should my goal be?" So I wrote back and I said, "Why don't you just let your journey be the goal?"
yeah,
And he took that to heart, and he published it in his next newsletter.
I'll be darned. Wow.
Yeah,
So you have that too, huh?
yeah, and
Let's get copies of that. Show it to him.
he probably
That's. I'm so
doesn't.
glad to hear.
Yeah, so and he probably doesn't know me from Adam, or remember me from Adam, but that's fine. I support his work, and I listen to I watch his podcasts and everything, and I've spoken to him at conventions and things like that. So,
Well, I'm going to remind him. We talk
uh,
all the time, so.
yeah,
And I'm gonna say, "You were actually a nice person and wrote this gentleman back. That really is nice of you, Whitley." No, but your suggestion was really a good one, and I know Whitley well enough to know he really took that to heart, and he's done that ever since through, uh, and he's been through some pretty rough times in doing it
yeah,
as well, and losing Anne and everything, and he's remained diligent all this time, and right now he's knuckling down on another book, and he's doing his shows, and at 80 years old, he's never been more busy than he is today.
yeah,
And he's not showing any signs of slowing down at all. He's taking good care of his health, and I would never peg him as being 80 years old. Me, maybe, but not him.
yeah,
And I'm
no,
only 73.
yeah,
So,
yeah. I'm
John, this has
I'm
been
73 too. So,
oh hey, so both born in 52. Wow,
yep,
that was an amazing year. A lot of things happened back then.
yep,
John, I want to thank you for being on the show and having this conversation. It's been a wonderful conversation. I really enjoyed seeing your art, and I loved hearing about your dream too. And I'm sure once this show is cut and it's put on the channel, watch the comics closely because I'm sure that many of the people in the community are going to agree with me that there's more that meets the eye, as Whitley did
absolutely.
to your
Well,
experience, which has been really wonderful.
well, I'm really honored and gratified for having me on and letting me show my little cartoons and this has been a great experience, Steve. Thank you so much.
It's been joyful and not heavy. Thank you so much.
Yeah.